updated and lower-cost Retina Macs, Mac-free podcasting, AT&T continues to block FaceTime, and Tim Cook has some words. It's Friday, February 15th, 2013, and this is iWake. I'm Tim Chaten, and this is what's going on in the Apple world today. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to iWake. My apologies for the lack of episodes this week when there has, in fact, been a lot of news going on. So, my apologies there. One night was the night I got the iPad mini and didn't get back until late in setting up that. That was one night. Last night I was migrating the podcast to a Mac-free way to update the RSS feed so I can post audio shows now to iTunes without my Mac. I can do it all from my iPad and iPhone, and that's what happened last night. So a lot of stuff going on this week that caused the lack of shows. So my apologies there. This is the first episode in my experiment, my trials of can I really do a Mac-free way of producing, creating this podcast. So I'm recording the video on my iPad mini. I'm reading the show notes and links and stories from my iPad 2. And recording separately an audio version of iWake on my iPhone. So to do this, I'm using 3 different devices for 2 of them recording and 1 of them just for the show notes and having all the notes I need to do this. So with that said, let's get into the show itself. First up today is Apple. They've lowered the price of the Retina MacBook Pro 13-inch. It's now $14.99. It's a couple $100 off. I believe $100 off its old price point. And this is big news. This is really cool news to see Apple is actually adjusting the prices. Mainly, I think this is on flash storage pricing and that part getting cheaper. These are also slightly faster. I don't remember the old ones, but these will be a little bit faster. And this feels like a 1.5 generation. The 15-inch got a speed bump, the 13-inch got a speed bump, the 13-inch MacBook Air, I believe, got a $100 price drop. So a lot of nice little changes here. Nothing substantial, nothing big. We are still waiting for the big summer of laptops that Apple traditionally does, but has not done quite yet. So next up is AT&T. I got an iPad mini on AT&T because my iPad 2 has the unlimited data plan, and I was able to transfer that over to my iPad mini quite nicely. Now, something I enjoyed throughout the betas of iOS 6 was the ability to FaceTime over 3G, and that worked with my iPad unlimited data plan. But unfortunately, when I transferred that data plan to my mini, it seems that I can't, in fact, use that over FaceTime. And I looked into this further. Evidently, AT&T, for only the briefest of moments, allowed FaceTime over the unlimited data plans. That has now ceased, and you're out of luck. I didn't see that part reported, that they pulled out of this. This is I'm pretty aggravated by this. This is aggravating to me, and it encourages jailbreaking and using tools like that to use your iPad to its fullest. So with that said, let's move on. Next up, I just want to mention that Comcast is set to acquire GE's stake in NBC Universal to assume full ownership of NBC and Universal. So this, I'm really conflicted about what's going on here with Comcast owning the entirety of cable network. They could block it from sale on iTunes. They could do all sorts of things that seem anti-consumer. So I hope this does not go through as planned, but who knows what will happen here. Meanwhile, HBO Go now has AirPlay support. HBO Go and Max Go apps have that ability now. This was announced at D-Dive Into Media 2013. That's one of those All Things D interviews. And it looks like these apps are out. So if you are a Max Go or HBO Go user, go out and update your apps, as this seems rather big. Next up, some of the news out of Apple this week was from Tim Cook. First up, Apple announces $8 billion paid out in developers. This is a big news, first off, in the fact that last month they announced $7 billion. So within a single month period of time, they paid out $1 billion to developers. That's just crazy, crazy news. How big that is. So that's first off. Next, let's move on to some of the Tim Cook. Tim Cook's was talked at the Gold Sachs conference. So let's get into somewhat of what he said. So Tim Cook, first off, has spoken about acquisitions, that they have considered bigger acquisitions, but they've always felt wrong, not a fit for Apple. So they're never against that. It just has to be a fit for them. As far as going to lower cost devices, he mentioned the Shuffle was a way to do that. That they don't like to make crappy devices. They'll make something as long as they can find a way to make things in quality. So that is something there, and something big there. As far as retail, the retail experience to Tim, it energizes Tim when he goes out to the retail stores, and he really does think it's a special experience. It's like Prozac to him, is what he told them, and he's proud of the products in his first year at Apple. There were a lot of things said at this event, and the audio is available to listen to, and it is worth listening to. So that's all I'm going to say about that. There's a lot more to dive into there. Next up, I just want to mention that Nike has announced there will be no Android app for the Fuel Band. Now, this is big on a couple levels. Fitbit has been trying to support Android, but syncing over Bluetooth is a very difficult thing on their platform, and it seems like a bag of hurt for these kind of fitness devices trying to sync properly over Bluetooth. And it's really telling to me that Nike feels that Fuel Band is not a good product for Android. That's something kind of interesting to me. And next up, if you're an iPhone 4S user, iOS 6.1.1 is available. This fixes some cellular performance and reliability issues that you may be having. There is no update out for the other devices, just that. And meanwhile, Apple has released a shorter 0.5 meter Lightning to USB cable. Same price point, $19, but if you want a shorter cable, that is now available. Next up, a new app from Kickstarter. This is the Kickstarter's first mobile app, and what can you do with this app? Well, it's a better way to browse the website. You're able to find and manage different projects that you're funding. I believe this also allows people to start Kickstarters right from their iPhone, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty cool there. Next up, as far as the jailbreaking realm, I believe I've talked about this, but iOS 6 is now jailbreakable. Apple TV is now jailbreakable on the second generation, and Firecore has updated their ATV Flash for that. So if you are one of those users, go out and update. Next up is that of Tempo, a new app for maps, for calendar, basically. So this is the new calendar. It was created by the Siri folks. So the people that created Siri have created Tempo AI. And this is kind of going to be a limited release. It's out now on the App Store, but I believe there is some invite process. And if you're looking for a really innovative calendar app, this is kind of it. This integrates maps. This integrates your contact book into your calendar to help you get those calendar tasks done and on your way. So there's some cool things here. There's a link to The Verge's review, and it is worth reading. I don't have time to go into all of that now, but just to say, it is out there and available if you would like to do that. And last up in the show notes, just more information about the update to the MacBook Pro with Retina. Apple's press release is there. MacBook Airs with 256 gigabytes flash, now $13.99. So sorry about mentioning that, but Links are a little bit out of order with that, but anyways, that is the show for today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of iWake. I'll be back on Monday for another edition of iWake, and now is the fun process for me to go through and do the post-production from iOS devices. So hopefully you guys get a listen and watch this, and I'll talk to everyone again real soon. My book, iPod Evolution, is now out. It's iPodEvolution.net for more info. My poetry book is up for pre-order for $3. Just search for poetry video and you'll find it. Pre-order today. It's available to download on Tuesday. So beyond that, youtube.com/TCHATEN for more information about, for more videos, I guess, from me. So that's it. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll talk to everyone again real soon.